All right, good evening to all of you. Right. Yeah, so we'll start the session. It has been the customary practice of the education division of the institute to organize some sessions, on case study, especially to guide our students how to approach the case study. Right? Because this is a little different to all other papers you all sat in this CA journey, right? During the last, we have been doing it over last 15 years, but again, a couple of years, of course, due to COVID and various other reasons, we couldn't do it. But again, from DC onwards, we decided to do it in a structured form, where we felt that, okay, we can give a good input, especially from the institute, for you all to, for you all especially highlighting on how to approach the case study. Right. So objective is to basically assist or help all of you to get through the examination, right, and then become a member. So within this year itself, right, as you are aware now, so we have already introduced a new curriculum, and the new curriculum is going to be effective from next year June. So you'll have basically 2 more exams, so this June and December, because from next year June onwards the examinations will be held based on the new curriculum. So therefore you all should be determined, right, to study well and get through the examination during this time itself. To achieve this objective, or meaning to support all of you, so we have decided to have basically 5 workshops, right. Today is the introduction basically to it, and then so we'll be having 2 workshops on business strategy and the corporate strategy. One on the business strategy and another one on the corporate strategy, and then one more session on the corporate finance and the risk management part of it, and then finally the case analysis. So therefore, so we'll be basically covering your syllabus, right? Syllabus, this discussion so will be basically based on the pre-scene given. We'll be basically covering the curriculum, giving the specific reference, to the pre-scene given in this year, right? So therefore we'll be discussing both, the syllabus, right, and the information given in the pre-scene. Our resource persons will always ensure that, so they will discuss the syllabus, giving due reference to the pre-scene given this time. So one of the common issue we have seen in this particular examination over the last 10-15 years, so most of the time students come up with a structured answers, right, since the pre-scene is given well in advance, so you all basically come up with your own questions and come up with your own answers, and then you basically write that answer in the examination without considering the questions being asked, in very simple terms. Most of the time it is yanne koheda malle pol kind of an answer, right, because the question asked is completely different to most of the time answers written by most of the students, right. So that is because you all believe that, say for example with the assistance of various people, right, so you all might come up with kind of possible questions. Doing that is really good, because for you all to get kind of hands-on experience on compiling a good answer, right, for the case study, right. So but it does not mean that you can reproduce that answer in your examination, right. So most of the people basically, so they forecast, predict some of the questions, and then so get you all to write answers. That is done basically to give you all hands-on experience on writing an answer for this examination, not to come and reproduce that particular answer in the examination. So therefore, so especially so for the examinations, you have to ensure that you come with an open mind, right. Forget about what you all did, yes, you all studied whatever the pre-scene and various other stuff, but again, right, so when you all come for the examination, all these the questions that you all envisage and the answers you all wrote and etc., all that will have to be forgotten, right? And in the examination, you will basically read the unseen given, and then identify the requirements given by the examiner, and then produce the answer for the questions being asked by the examiner, right? Now, one of the common issue always highlighted in the examination by the examiners, right, is that so they have written answer for some other question, not for the question asked by the examiner. So therefore, this is one of the comment or observation that has always been reported by the examiners. So therefore, right at the beginning, I would like to convey this message or emphasize the fact that yes, you study the syllabus, right? Because as you all know, there are mainly 4 elements in your syllabus. So the corporate finance and risk management is about 25% of your syllabus. Once again, so I went through some of the examiners' comments during the last 3 examinations, where the examiners have highlighted that the students that there was serious mistakes in application of financial management concepts, especially in the case study, right? Now you all do your management, you will get to your management accounting, you will get to your financial management paper, etc. So before come for this paper, but ultimately, so they have seen, examiners have identified the fact that most of the students, they don't know how to apply some of the basic financial management concepts in a given scenario. So therefore, so remember, if you all have forgotten what you all learned, right, under financial management at strategic level or the management accounting at the corporate level, ensure that you all revisit so whatever you all did, right, revisit whatever you all did or whatever you all studied, so during the corporate and strategic level, and refresh your knowledge, because the corporate finance and the risk management both are required. That is 25% of your syllabus, because especially in the today's context, now see our country Sri Lanka, right, during the last the couple of few years, right, so as a country as well as most of the corporates were exposed to many risk, right, whether it be the exchange rate risk or the interest. Now take both interest rate risk and the exchange rate risk. The risk management is very important for a corporate, basically to address some of these risk management concerns of an organization, right? So that is why risk management is part of your curriculum, right? And then the corporate finance, right? Corporate finance and the risk management plays a significant role, right? So especially helping the business organization to come out of especially in a situation like crisis. So therefore, understand that, right? Understand that, and if you have forgotten, some of these basics, once again, I'm reminding, go through your content, what you all have, whatever you all studied during the corporate and the strategic level, studies, right? So again, so you'll have the tax and the corporate governance part of it, right? Again, you will have studied during the corporate and strategic level. Ensure that because as you all know, once again, the taxes, there were many changes in the tax fronts during the last 2 years, and even the corporate governance, right? New corporate governance rules were introduced by Security and Exchange Commission and the Colombo Stock Exchange during the last 2 years, and so when I'm going through the examiners' comments, I saw that there was an observation made by the examiners in the examiners' comment, where they said some of the students were not aware of some of these corporate governance changes, right? Implemented by or proposed by the Security and Exchange Commission and the Colombo Stock Exchange during the 2022 and 2023 period. So therefore, now those will have to be known, because these are new changes. Taxes have been changed, the scope of some taxes like VAT and the SSCL and the income tax have been changed. For example, certain businesses which were not liable for taxes previously are now liable for tax at the rate of 30%. Say BP operations, the IT services export sector, previously not liable for taxes, but now liable for taxes at 30%. Right? So therefore, some organizations, some businesses which are not liable for VAT now are liable for VAT at, for example, 18%. So therefore, the lot of changes have been taking place in the front of tax and the corporate governance. So they are part of your syllabus, right? So you all have to be aware of some of these changes, new development in that front. Then again, the business strategy and the corporate strategy. Right, you all think that okay, you all can reproduce SWOT analysis and all this BCG etc. In the examination, right, and then earn some marks. Remember, just simply reproducing the content what you will have learned, right? So you all can do, for example, based on the pre-scene, you all can do SWOT analysis at home, right? You can do something on the BCG or the PESTEL, right? So you can, bring those, the workings here, and if you all intend in reproducing them without, understanding the requirement of the examiner, ultimately you all might not earn the marks. So therefore, especially in this particular context, what you got to understand, right? Examiner is giving you all kind of a practical, scenario, practical the question, right? So where you will have to understand the particular scenario given and identify, and then propose a practical solution for the particular organization, to come out of the particular crisis or the issues highlighted in the pre-seen and the unseen. So therefore, my request, yes, you have to study the your corporate finance and the risk management. You have to study your taxes and the key changes in the corporate governance front. You should know how to apply, right, the corporate and the business strategies into practical environment, just not to reproduce the content, right? So what is expected is application of those the strategies, corporate or the business strategies into the practical scenario, and come up with your own the suggestions or the recommendations how best the issues identified can be addressed or the handled. So therefore, in the broad term, so that is basically the expectation. So the pre-seen, unseen both are given for you to identify those the issues and come up with your own analysis and the strategies for the organization to come out of the crisis. That is basically the reason why we thought of structuring so these workshops covering all areas in your syllabus, and then the pre-seen analysis, right? So with that, the small introduction, so let me invite our expert today, Mr. Hemantha De Silva, who will come and take you all through some of the salient features relating to case analysis. Because you also should understand how to analyze a pre-seen given, right, and how to basically approach to answer a question given together with an unseen. So he is an expert on the area, so therefore we invited him to come and basically take you all through on that. So Hemantha, may I now invite you to come and take them.
Thank you, Sanjay. So first, two questions I have. Did you get the pre-seen now? When? 29th. So when the 28th, right? And now 7 days gone. So 29th is the exam. So why you got the pre-seen? Mr. Sanjay told that the purpose of giving the pre-seen, right? So did you read it? Yeah, so that according to I went through before I prepare for this lecture, who asked me to do it a week ago. So I went through the previous examination report. Market examiners has given report every year, right? Even latest one I went through. So before I start how to do the pre-seen, I will tell what I caught from this what is called the examination report, common mistakes done in financial management. So mainly students fail. Your expert area is the financial management, strategic financial management. You cannot do a technical mistakes, but commonly you all have done, the previous students have done lot of mistakes. That is a common. So you cannot I want to first correct that. So how to, because of the free cash flow calculation, mainly WACC, then the what is called the risk-free rate. So basically they'll have some misconception of financial management. So if you have not correctly understood the concept, you will make the mistake. Even this last examiner's report basically specially mention those mistakes. If you go through this examiner report, you will find this. First I will start from that. Secondly, I will go through the examination report and then I will go tell that how to do the case study examination preparation. So within this 1 month, what you have to do it, right? Then after that, I will discuss certain corporate strategies. Basically, I found from the examiner's answers because I couldn't have time to go through all the pre-scenes, but I went through the answers, right? So which kind of corporate strategies then? How you are going to link these things to the at the examination correctly? So I will discuss, those are the introduction. Basically I will not go through any current pre-scene because I don't have time to do this current one. That was already allocated to the expert on that particular area. But my main task to tell how to prepare prior to the examination with this pre-scene, right? Secondly, so the correct the misunderstanding of the all the concepts, common concepts, mistakes in financial management, and how you are going to link this financial management strategies to the corporate strategy. So that is basically examiner, where if you have correctly go to the pre-scene, right? And as I explained to you, you will find, because none of you can fail the exam. That's I tell. Second thing, if you think this is a heavy task to pass, that is also myth. No one can fail this exam because you have already studied financial management, corporate governance, strategic management, all theories you know. Only thing you don't know, if one thing, though you all have now told me that you have gone through this case study, I guarantee none of you have gone through this, right? Because the examiner already mentioned that. Examiners mentioned in the previously, students have not gone through the yourself. This is pre-scene. Maybe you have get somebody's interpretation. So this is one reason you fail it. If you fail, even you pass according to the examination reports, that was common comment. If you see that was mentioned. So then the first what I said is, tell me what is free cash flow? What do you want? Because this time is the free cash flow, and the even previous examination free cash flow is important. Previous one is very complex free cash flow calculation, and this time it's easy. And what according to the examiner, students were not done properly and not even get a 50 marks out of the 20 marks are there, right? So then can someone tell me what is you understand in the free cash flow? What is free cash flow? This is, I want to first correct that one. Free cash flow. Simple. Free cash flows, two free cash flows you are having. Most of the students strongly apply that free cash flow. Even free cash flow strongly calculated. This time it was basically because it's we have two cash flow, free cash flow. One is free cash flow to firm. Other one is free cash flow to equity. If you have not properly understood this concept, you don't know how to apply and where you should apply. Then you are wrong. This time, equity. Free cash flow for equity, then you have to select the correct discount factor, not WACC. If you come to the equity, because next examiner has mentioned 90% students use the WACC. Though they pass, but because of this marking scheme, you pass. So then you should have the correct understanding of the, then the free cash flow have firm and free cash flow equity. From where we start? If it is free cash flow to firm, from where should it start? You have all passed now strategic financial management paper. What is the profit? Can someone tell me? If it is your, then now the case was given, freezing you are having. So now this time different profit was given. Net profit given, then operating profit given, then earning before interest and tax given, all. Then when the examiner given that kind of thing, if you have not correctly understood which cash flow is needed, and even you selected the cash flow it is firm or equity, then you should start from the correct profit. Can someone tell me? It's not rocket science, right? It's a simple thing. Because you have not correctly understood the basic concept, you make this mistake. Because everybody knows to calculate free cash flow from any profit, anything deduct, anything add, and then add less tax or something, then come to some figure, then discount that from anything, and they get the value. It's a calculation. But it's not case study analysis, right? Best you must understand only simple thing correctly. So when you come to the free cash flow firm, it should be started from earning before interest and tax. Because interest was not there and tax was not there, right? Earning before interest and tax. Why? Because once you started from this is known as the enterprise value. Then enterprise value means the firm value. It's not the equity value. Because interest has not been deducted. When interest has not been deducted that profit, then you have to discount from the WACC. Discount factor should be WACC, not anything. That's the logic, right? Because interest was not deducted from the profit. But you want to calculate enterprise value and firm value. If you take the enterprise value, then how you are going to find equity value? Then you have to deduct the debtors, value of the debtors. But in last exam comments, any profit you take, some people have taken operating profit, some people earning before interest and tax, some profit are net profit. Right, net profit is correct because equity value. The funny thing is, some students have deduct tax from this course. Net profit is after tax. So why are you going to deduct tax? Some students say depreciation, they got this comment was there, depreciation was deducted, a K. So you have to add depreciation. Then any profit you find it, earning before interest or tax, then you have to add there is no depreciation was deducted, so no need to add the depreciation. Then the tax is to be deducted from this, right? 1 minus tax. Then you get the profit for free cash flow start. Then whatever changes in capital, working capital, and then you deduct the capital expenditure. Then you get the free cash flow. Then if it is enterprise value, then you get calculated WACC and discounting. Then you will get the present value. Then the other question is this time, especially mentioned examiner, terminal value. After the free cash flow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 calculated, certain students make the mistake of calculating terminal value, but even they calculate terminal value, they just take the terminal value, then the discount is cash flow, and then they accumulated that without taking the terminal value discounted. Then the accumulated free cash flow, the only cash flows, the calculated present value of free cash flows and at the terminal value without discounting in the correct year. Right? You can understand the knowledge of financial management of those students. How can you do these mistakes?
if you have done this kind of mistakes, I don't think if I am the examiner, even you get the 80 marks, I will not give marks. Because those are technical mistakes without you don't know the financial management. So first, get the correct concept, understand, right? It's very important. In the specific financial management, others, no issue. But you are all financial chartered accountants, going to the corporate sector, already you passed the exam, right? Now I am telling you these things, not to do any harm, right? This is you have to learn, right? And you must get the correct concept. I don't know how you are, maybe you have a knowledge, but I am talking about the previous students, right? Who sat for the exam. But how they make this kind of mistakes, I can't understand after learning and passing the strategic financial management paper in institute. Because that was tested, right? So, but this time, hereafter, none of these students cannot make this mistake. Understood? You have to find out whether when you read it, it says the share price. Calculate the price of the share of the equity, then immediately you should get it start from the net profit. Then nothing to adjust, only the depreciation, because you already did have the depreciation, you must add it. And then you calculate the correctly. If given the changes of working capital was provide, this time you have to calculate it. Yeah. That also the students made a mistake, but according to the examiner, so in 2024, working capital, every year you have to calculate the working capital on the percentage of revenue. And then you have to take the difference. But students have taken only this working capital, they have not changed it. Then the capital expenditure, so then that's one. This is WSCC also commonly make a mistake in WSCC. When you all have given the cost of what is called the capital have to, you know that, right? That is debt and equity. If the market value given in this scenario, to find the weight, you must take the market value, debt market value and the equity market value. So share price is given and debt also debenture market value given. If not only, you have to take the book value. You have to understand that too. Commonly you make a mistake. Hereafter you can't do this mistake. I especially want to correct because since you are going to the corporate sector, you can take any value and calculate. But it's not correct. Concept is wrongly interpreted. Your answer is wrong and your strategy is wrong. Right? Because depending on your answer, strategies are formulated. So then make sure that you don't do that mistake too. These are the financial management, basically common mistakes done by the students previously. But I want to, before I start this case study analysis, I want to discuss that matter. What is this?
Yeah, once again, the headmaster is inviting you all to remind your basics. Remember your basics. If you have forgotten, right, what is saying is okay, the study, right, go back to your corporate strategic level, whatever the study is, right, and then ensure that you remind yourself of some of these basics. Especially, so we both studied the last 3 case studies, right? Basically, to assist you all on this exercise, right? Where we identify, for example, last examination, it also they examined what you all to determine the value of equity shares of some of the companies here. Value of business, right? Value of equity shares, the value of business. In both cases, it is determining this was necessary. Right, determining the value, of the business, or determining the value of equity, etc., was required. So, the examiners specifically say that there were several mistakes everywhere. Right. So, therefore, once again, so we both are reminding you all just to go back, if you have forgotten, yes, the students, in our age, you can study, for example, you all have studied financial management to get through the strategic level financial management paper, they are asking, you might have forgotten some of these concepts that you are studying. Yeah, but now, for you want to get through the case study, remember, right, actually find out your revisit what you have studied before and then, right, so remind yourself about some of these, the concepts that you have learned. Because one other thing highlighted by exact and specific credit was the strategy, right? Now ultimately, now the corporate finance will have to connect with the corporate and business strategy, right? If you make a mistake there, but ultimately strategy was a suggesting, right? Whether it is corporate or business, right? The strategy or the suggesting will be inappropriate or inaccurate. For example, if you decide the value of share, right? To be, for example, of the last examination before the last one, where I say it's required for you all to determine the value of equity share of a hotel, and then you advise the management whether they should, the acquired particular organization, what is the price, maximum price, that a particular the franchisee, the board, should pay for the seller of the particular hotel. Right? Now, for example, if you made a mistake there, for example, the computation was wrong. Right? If your computation was wrong, they are examining the seller of an organization is willing to sell the shares of the particular hotel at a price of 50 rupees for it. Right? Now, the requirement for you all to do the evaluation, do the valuation and advise management whether the management should, buy the equity share, whether the management should acquire the particular hotel at a price of 50 rupees. Right? If you have made a mistakes in your computation there, for example, right value equity share of a particular organization is 60. Whereas you computed it to be 40, so there was made in the computation. Then you only advise, okay, management is asking 50, the real value is 40, therefore not advisable to acquire. So therefore, say sorry, we are not willing to buy. Whereas actually the value of equity share of the real value is 60. Right? They are offering it to you at 50. The strategy should have been, right? You advise them, okay, this is a worthwhile investment. Go and buy. So therefore your strategy ultimately answer your agreement will also be inaccurate in the event, so your computation there is wrong. So that is, for example, you always corporate finance and that your evaluations are connected with the corporate strategy is a strategy of the organization. So therefore, the having the accurate computation is very important for you to finally conclude on the specific corporate strategy of the organization. That is once again highlighting the fact that you need to basically try the revisit your studies done at your corporate strategy.
And for other common mistakes, because this concept also you don't know. Maybe everybody made this mistake. So when the company valuation was asked to do it, right? All given, balance sheet given, then the forecasted cash flows given, and asked to value this time also. This time equity value, right? Some students, the examiners report again say that student has used net assessment. Why these two assessed values? Some other values also there, but these are basically. But you should know exactly when we should use the net assessed value, and we should know what is the cash flow. If the company is continuing, foreseen, right? Then you can't use the net assessed value. You have to use the free cash flow because you can see the cash flows, right? Then there is a range of valuation, then you can say that net assessed value is a minimum value, this is the high value. If a particular assessed value asked, then if there is no continuity on this company and ask whether they are going to purchase or buy this thing, then ask the value, then you should choose the only way market value of these assets and liabilities, then you can get the net assessed value. But just because of given certain things, figures are in the receipt, you have calculated and come, and unseen was not read properly, understood as Sanjay mentioned the very person, so then you put this as a value and think I have done it. Right, prescient given, you must know this is somewhere this is going to be bankrupt or continuation is there. Then you should know exactly. You can calculate and not because we don't know unseen how they are going to give it. Maybe sometimes that particular company can be almost unseen bankrupt and ask to sell it or something. Then you have to use the net necessary. So then you calculate it and come. It's okay. But just because you brought it, don't put it in this without treating the unseen. Unseen normally change that something increasing. Something the examiner will change it. So then you must read both and understand. You already prepared the pre-scene. Then you know whatever inside in the pre-scene. Then when the unseen only you have to read it. At the examination you don't read the pre-scene again. Because already you should be in, just like you are working in that company. So right, you don't have time to read the pre-scene at the exam. Only unseen. The 15 minutes given to read the unseen and understand. So then you have to link those immediately by what you are already read pre-scene, right? So these are the things what I wanted to explain. Common mistake, don't do these mistakes because normally valuations are coming. And other thing I wanted, don't know whether this time it will happen or maybe we have. But normally, you know, when you want to link financial information to the business strategy, how we can do it in practically. So this is for your understanding I am telling. So that how we are going to do it. So with the company there, so information was given already. So then when you have time, then you can keep it that thing also prepare. Then maybe useful in the examination if the examiner change the pattern. You know financial statement analysis, right? So what you are going to do? What are the methods of financial statement analysis? How many methods? Cancer. You have interaction, right? How can we share the knowledge? I should know exactly what is your procedure. Then I can help you. What is the finance? Maybe you have done it. Financial statement analysis. What are the methods? Horizontal analysis. So what is horizontal analysis? Horizontal analysis. You know that P&L. Year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 given in this is 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24 all given, right? Then horizontally you see the difference, right? So that is a trend period, right? Whether profit increase or percentage, something we can get it. Compared to the base years. Or we can say that here this one and this one, then we can calculate 5 years, what is the base year. Or then these two trends we can find it, right? Horizontally we find it. Then the vertical analysis, that is vertically, right? As a sales percentage or a total assets percentage of the component, right? Then ratio analysis, cash flow analysis, right? All that. Then we have to link this to the strategic insight of this analysis. That is the link to the strategies, right? So the trends we found is revenue is increasing, but profit is decreasing. So we don't know what is the problem. When you given the pre-scene, balance sheet was given 5 years, P&L was given 5 years. Then the analysis, when we done these two analysis, ratio analysis, then we found certain ratios are not usual, unusual trends are there, and revenue increasing, profit coming down. So then what is we are going to do next? We are going to do the decomposition. What does decomposition mean? What is the meaning of decompose? What is the meaning of decompose? That is, practically we do these things in the organizations. What is the meaning of because I just, before I started this one, I just want to bring you all to the strategic level mind, right? So then, when you have that knowledge, definitely you cannot fail the exam. Then next time you tell how to do the pre-scene, so definitely all of you can pass. Keep it in mind that and work on that, but hard work. That's all. If you pass a financial strategic management paper or some management accounting papers or auditing papers, case study how can you pay? That is the easiest one. Yes, because you are not working. And sometimes you have a misconceptual understanding of the certain concept. But I cleared most of the thing today for the financial management. So I will go through even the corporate strategies also later on, various how to link that. But before that, I just want to touch off this thing. Decomposition, the meaning of that, someone tell me, what is decompose? Compose, put together, right? Decompose, separate. Go to the, when you go to the profit, net profit. So one figure changes. Then decompose means find out the component of this separately. What are the revenue, cost of sales, right? Gross profit come. Then the administration expenses, taxation, interest come, right? Then the administration has the components, so many components. Find out where this is going wrong, right? So that is what the decompose. Basically, there is a one, we go to the ROE, return on equity, because while ROE needed, equity holders are investors. They expect their return. If the ROE is less than WACC, what will happen? This is 10%, which is 15%. Is investors will happy? So then ROE has to be improved, right? Then now we are going to use the DuPont analysis. What DuPont analysis? Net profit, revenue, total assets into total assets to equity. That's because the net profit divided by equity. What is this? This is a margin. This is asset turnover. This is equity multiplier, right? If the equity multiplier is high, what is the problem? Why equity multiplier? Total assets divided by equity is higher. What you will understand from that immediately? When you see the in company, equity multiplier is a high figure, 1.5 times, right? What is the meaning of that? What do you understand from that? Debt is high. This factor, right? Financial risk is there because this is, but one thing, we can improve the ROE using debt, right? But meantime, your net profit will come down. This is what you have to think. Only not one strategy. You can improve it, but low interest rate, so it's okay. Then the net profit increases, the decreases will be not that big impact, but this was it can increase. So looking at this, how we are, this is coming low. Revenue divided by total assets, this is the assets turnover. So why? assess utilization is not correct, right? It's underutilized. Then that's a problem there. Then it decompose again. You go into and see what are the, whether we can reduce this total assets. And maybe underutilized assets will be there, but not used for anything. Value is very high. Then you can sell it. You can suggest strategically you have to sell it and reduce your debt. Right? Then your net profit can be improved. So this is a equity debt, what is the equity multiplier is coming down, but still is a good strategy because assets are much higher here, right? And interest cost can be, when you decompose, you can see the interest burden there to this company, and assets are not utilized. No point keeping this. Then you can improve it. Then you can actually, this is the strategic insight. This is what the pre-scene given to you, and when you analyze this thing, then you will get it into this strategic thinking side. So you have to, before you do this exam, you must be a strategist. Right? So because you have all the information. Understood now, right? Do you have any question on that what I discussed up to now? Clear? Now you are not doing these mistakes hereafter, right? Then next time marking examiner's report can be mentioned that no any mistake done by the students this time, right? Free of mistake, but common mistake mentioned by the examiner's report, right? Now we go to the preparation now. So most important thing is, I have mentioned actually 5 to 10 times, but it's not enough. Even for me, it's not enough to do the proper preparation for the teaching. You have to alone read it at least 10 to 15 times, and every day you have to read it. So most students fail because they don't read it. Very lazy to read. The boring, sleep, right? Even I try to read this piece because only one paragraph I can read. It's very boring. The reason is, until you read it completely and get it into this is boring. Not only you, even I have done so many case studies, right? And for the universities and for myself, there is exam I sat for this case study, right? It's boring. Not only you, because it's some story, some figures, nothing, right? But you have to read 5 times to get it into the at least some interest on this. Because read it. Don't take anything seriously. You read it. Read it. Every day you read it. At least 1 to 2 times. First day you read it and forget it. Then you read again. At least now 7 days you finish. Maybe if you have not read it, then you already passed that period. But still now you start. At least 2 times you read it. Morning, after you come back from the office, you read it again. Don't do anything. Read it only. Until you come into the something in here, don't do anything. Don't try to analyze. Don't take alright, this time this comes like that. Don't predict anything. That is the next mistake. Please don't predict. Then this exam, this will come. You are not in position to do at the moment. If you follow my instruction, week before the exam, you will exactly can guess examiner's thinking. What is the examiner going to do? First thing, when you read, your subconscious will work. Somehow you have to put it into your subconscious this case. That is only can be done reading. Then you, after that, you will find one time, this case will, you are living in the case. Even you go to the bathroom, you do something, coming. Right, this guy told me this. Various things come into ideas. You note down those things. Right? These points automatically, you are working company has a problem. When you are working your company, you have problem. When the problems there, what will happening? Because you are thinking daily, right? Then, even you go to the bathroom, even when you sleep, anything, various ideas come into your mind. That is you have to do it. Because you have to this month live with this case study. Nothing else. When you come to second week, now the second week coming, at least you should be able to read 3 times per day. Because 3 times means because you already passed 1 week without reading. Right? So the reading is very important. That is the most important thing if you want to pass this exam. Nothing else, because you know subject. Until you get into this briefing and understand entirely this case without unseen, so then you have to read it. When you are in what is called the full of information about this and join the subject, then you will daily, every time get it certain ideas. This common right? Then this is a strategy we have to do. So there is a corporate governance problem. So then this problem we have to solve this. Those knocked down, right? That's all. Then you started the serious reading, right? Then this is how actually I do the case studies normally. No one can analyze and give this pre-scene to you because it should be done by you. You are the person who is going to sit for the exam. If you don't know, if you have other person's analysis, you will never get it. I tell you good example. My first case study, I did for the UK. That time actually came on the Malaysian area. Actual case coming. 64 pages. Booklet coming. Even I don't know now it's coming. Same case study. Because my colleagues, certain people, friends did it. That's why I started to do it. But I didn't go to any class. I only analyzed this page. I was living with this case study. So 64 pages with the various relevant, irrelevant, everything there. But when you read it, you are living in that particular airline, right? Then 5 or 6 colleagues with me, right? So they went to the class. I didn't go. Just before 1 week or 2 days before, they all us met it and they made it to discuss. Right? But my analysis is totally different. But others, they were not like this. They were common analysis, right? But I am totally different analysis and I put it in. But meanwhile, when you read it, I said that example. So when you read it, each and every paragraph over there is a link to the subject. That's a marketing tools are so many. When you read it, BCG metrics and soft metrics, everything you can link. Then we have to actually for that exam you have to do it, right? Because they say they have 3 pages. You have to put the summary 3 pages. 3 pages with the technical knowledge has to be linked there. Then 3 pages, how can you summarize it? We put various artwork and put it there and link to the subject matter. When you go to the exam actually, so you have to attach that 3 pages, only 3 pages. You can take it and summary and you have to attach it. 25 marks given for that working. But you get it that if your analysis is done properly, at least more than 50% what you mentioned there to be linked to the your body, answer body. So then you get it. So that's the way. Analysis, that is a serious analysis. So what happened? Exam. First time I passed the exam, but none of others passed. So this is your own understanding. You are living with that. Any question unseen comes, you can change immediately. And you have all the tools in your mind as the paper. You can link immediately. If somebody's analysis, how you are going to link? So this is the example what I am telling to every place, every time. So this is the good example of my own experience. So then you must prepare yourself. This is very important case study. Nothing else. You yourself read it, analyze yourself and link it. Summarize the key facts. That's exactly what I mentioned there. Create a one-page summary of the company and its environment, note down financial data, organization, so whatever summary. When you now you can start. After you read it 10 times or 5 times, or when you understand that, you now summarize. Without reading, you cannot do the summary. You know, even in small age, we have to give the paragraphs and ask to give the summary now. Right? So to know, otherwise you can't write a summary, right? If you don't know anything in this thing, you can't write a summary. If you can write summary, so that means you are already read well in and you understood things. Otherwise you cannot. Right? So that is you summarize now. That teaching you have to summarize. Then when you summarize, you will understand the problem, issues, subject matters. This is related to what is called the strategic management. This is you would have to use this tool, and then there is a growth problem there. Then definitely answer model will come now. So then you will go to the market development, product development. Examiner has to go this time also geographical changes, various things for the retail outlet were there, right, this time. So then they are going to expand it. Then geographically, what's the model? BCG model. Then you should understand, then you have given the mean time, I will discuss the answer later. Then this time you given the so many products, so many companies. Then you have BCG matrix, stock, cash cow, all must know, right? Then when you read, all given growth, take everything given, right? Then yourself facing, you can put it into this model in your summary. Right? You read it and summary, then this model. Then model you should understand properly what is BCG, how this product development can be done. But students, that was a commonly mentioned in the, as Sanjay mentioned, you are writing theory. Examiner doesn't want to look at it, what is BCG matrix? Everybody knows that. They want to know application. What is the cash cow company there? Then what you are going to do with the cash cow? Then there is a stock. What is the stock? Both grow, right? Then you have to reinvest. More investment, put it in, right? So that you will get more profit. You need a more expenditure because the high growth there, right? So then there is a do, right? Then you have to understand these things to use the correct strategy. So you just can't write, okay, what is the BCG matrix? There are these 4 type of things. Then this is what and like that. No point. You have to read the briefing and understand which company is cash cow, which company is the dough or a storm or a problem, right? Then depending on that, then you can, and that is what is coming to identity syllabus topics and the like areas, then you can immediately identify. Then in industry, so this time so many hospitals are there. So this is what you have to do everything, right? Once you now read it everything, then you now know so many industries. This time so many industries. Details, hospital, insurance, likewise. Though examiner test or not, you have to understand the technology, latest technology. What is, whether we can apply it. Then you have to, because you have to link this thing to strategy, whatever you, then the unseen will give the problem, right? All things. Then what your prescience is to read and understand the industry current state. There will be so many development as mentioned in the text. Then the technological changes. Then this hospital, especially when this hospital law manufacturing comes, waste management is important because corporate governance is there, right? Then this is what the question given to you, not to sleep with that, right? To read it and see this, when you understand that, then you have to gather the information from internet, whatever, ChatGPT, whatever, you can put the question, you can get the information, right? Preparation, not like our days. Now very easy. Our days you have to read the book or find out from, it's very difficult to get the information. Even that we collect the information, right? So now very easy, your life is easy. If you get that knowledge, right, then competitor. Who are the competitors? What they are doing? What is the benchmark them? Right? Now you have time to do it, right? Because you are not going to read the computer details, but to get the knowledge, then then you can gather these things. Competitive advantage, then you can see the case study itself here. Competitive advantages there. One is a very low cost, high quality, right? Then you read the case, so those things are given, right? Then they are in the competitive advantage, that is a management, right? Strategic management. So then you can mark down that this is coming in this way. So why now, after you familiarize with this basic, then you can read it in that knowledge. Then it's very interesting. Then you yourself know, the examiner cannot do anything without knowing to you, right? Because you have covered everything. Whatever examiner says, you have information to write. If you have the flow of writing the examiner's expectation, so you can score the prize even. Up to now, what I see, no one has taken prize so many years, but according to them. But this time, somebody can do it, right? So because you are now technically sound, no mistakes hereafter, technical mistakes. Then you know how to analyze, you get the information. So then you read it and come. So prepare for yourself. Then you can pass for 5 marks. So then don't think that it's very difficult. It's not difficult. It's the easiest exam. Positively do it. Soft analysis, normally you are doing. Examiner has mentioned that you only do soft analysis. So examiner does not soft analysis. You have to do soft analysis to find what? His strength, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. When you do the industry analysis, everything, so you can, I come to this thing, but these are you got each industry, each company, you have to do this soft analysis. Because information given, then you know what is their strength in this company, company 4 or 5 companies are there. You don't know which company they tested, but you have to prepare for all the companies, right? Given this time, so many companies. You are sitting for the first time that exam, you have to analyze first exam, then all the companies you have to analyze. You can't guess, right, this time this company will test it, because there are one precinct, two exam, I think. So then that is all the preparation, but the first time you are doing first exam on this precinct, so then you can't guess anything. Then even second exam you can't, because the examiner is so smart. This time he has been all the industries. What? BCG matrix was applied for all the industries to analyze. If you have not analyzed and thinking right, okay, this time these will not come, then you will get only 50%, 100% you will make it that one, then only 50% you can score. Right? So then you have to analyze whatever is the basic. You can't guess anything, because you are not examiner. Possibilities are there, no shortcut, only preparation. If you do that, definitely you can score. So when you read this time, as I told you, BCG matrix, growth problems are there, then the Ansoff matrix will come, then the what is called the financial, then the preparation of common questions, then financial performance ratios, or what I showed that, risk management, leadership and governance, sustainability. This time sustainability is there, right? So when you read it, you can mark this is the possibility of sustainability. Then you read the sustainability. What is your, how to refresh your knowledge? If you don't know sustainability, if the question comes from unseen, so how can you write? You have to know the models, right? That's how the model you have to mention in the pre-scene. Once you read there is a sustainability problem, you find it, then you read, you refresh your knowledge and mark out. Right? This is the theory, then you try to analyze and put it, because sustainability based management here, right? So then you must know that exactly. Otherwise, then in hospital, then it is a very important factor, right? Then you would have check it and what it is, because the patient hospital 203 hospital are mentioned. Then at least one hospital will tell it up. Then the corporate governance or the risk management, because all depend on the performance. If you mitigate the risk, high risk is coming in the waste disposal of the waste. How we are going to manage the waste? So then what is the technology is available? Meantime, when you propose and recommend, it should be sustainable. Because this company should be able to cope with the financially and continue this strategy. So you have to think that any recommendation, so you have to depend on your company. You can't tell anything what you can't continue. Sustainability is continuation. Any strategy, anything, so you have to be, once you implement, it should continue. So then you can brainstorm with your colleagues and thinking how they are thinking about that. But don't think you are wrong. As a expert, right, I never thought I am wrong. But you can brainstorm and get others' view. That's okay. Teamwork, right? Share knowledge. But every time you think you are correct. You are, because it's the case study answer is never one answer, right? If you can present logical, even this time, I saw that anything can be the argument different way, right? But arguments done logically and without technical mistake can be accepted. There is no one answer for case study. You are thinking, your strategy. when you are in a company, so if you follow get something, so that is your strategy. You suggest it logical and argue on that. What is your, every time when you suggest anything, you can argue. That is why then examiner knows your knowledge. Examiner give marks to your knowledge. Nothing for English or anything, right? Or the strategy is 100% perfect. It should be not exactly as the examiner's answer. Because examiner is thinking different. You are thinking different. But you have to have a logical answer, logically argue. Then examiner marking examiners and examiners are knowledgeable for it. They know, right, your logic is correct, you have not done any mistake. Yeah, you can think this way. Then you can see the previous exam, marking examiners has answer given alternative answers, right? That alternative answers means different answers may be there. So then logically, correctly you think it, so then no issue at all. Then you can score. Whatever your thinking is correctly present.
Sanjay, you have anything to do? Mock exams or practice, but in this exam, no mock exam, right?
But you can work previous exam. As I prepare, because I don't have mock exam or anything, I read the previous exam reports and I read it because I could read only one pre-seen and one unseen, because 1 week time told me. Otherwise, I would have 2 or 3. I will read it at home. But I only but you can take the previous exam as very important examiner's report. Right? Examiner's report is given right, published in lengthy examiner's report there. Is mentioned each and every point, right? So then you must, when you see, then you can check what is, if there is wrong, if there is my knowledge is also misunderstood the concept. So then you must correct yourself in that area. So when the examiner's answer there, then at least before you look at the examiner's answers, take the previous pre-seen and try to answer unseen, right? No mock other SEMA and everything, mock exams are there. But in our case, no mock exam. So what you can use the previous and yourself without looking at the answer published, to first try read it and try it, but now you don't have time to do it because you have the pre-seen was given. If you are before pre-seen given, you must do it, right, actually. Because if you read the previous year pre-seen now, so you are get confused, right? Now don't touch previous year. I will now only discuss that's more than enough. And don't touch the previous examination only before you read it, but try to you can go to answer also. You have financial calculations and the unseen and answer. Don't use the pre-seen, right? Because then you get confused with the current pre-seen. Only then to brush up your knowledge, go through the suggested answers and the unseen. So then you will get the idea about the technical matters and the governance and what you would have done it before pre-seen given. Now you don't have any time to read another pre-seen. Now you have to read this pre-seen only. So otherwise you will get confused and you will go and read previous exam pre-seen, right? Now this because that is the mind work, right? When you see the one word in the unseen, right? You definitely will take the previous year. What you read. That is the mind. You think is correct, right? So because of that, don't touch the previous year's pre-seen, and you only look at the unseen and the answer.
Yeah, now here actually, as I earlier said, Now, you all can do your studies as suggested, identify the vision, and you can do your own cost analysis and, whatever the corporate strategy analysis for different visas in our of course, this time credit forwarding and, half of visas is connected with it, and you can do your analysis, those areas in automation. And, you can, as you suggested, you can work as groups, the scenes that last week you see that students get together and work as groups. That is always encouraged because different individuals have different, for example, analytical skills, different individuals come up with different thinking, different areas, etc. That will always be beneficial, right? Your study as a group, because that synergy will definitely be helpful. But again, what I'm suggesting, yes, he had it, so they are requesting for you all to do mock examinations, yes, if you are doing mock examination, it will be useful for you all to get some hands-on experience of writing an answer, right? But again, I see a negative side of it also because that has always been, the highlighted by the examiner as I previously mentioned, so for example, you all work as a group and you yourself might come with different scenarios. This question might come, that question might come, somebody might tell you that okay, this kind of question might come, etc. You might compile an answer for a kind of question, that was suggested. But again, what happens is most of you will give various reasons, they come back and reproduce that in the examination aspect. That has been one of the biggest issues highlighted continuously by the examiners, right? So therefore, here if you are going to do a mock examination, don't do it focusing on the last case study that will give no use, right? Therefore, you can identify potential question and answer some questions, right? If somebody else, give you a kind of question or if you want to, if we say kind of questions and you all will get in the examination, yes, identify that, write an answer. That is basically to get a hands-on experience on how to answer the question in the examination, not to come and reproduce it. I am reiterating because this has been one of the critical problems, right? Because students think that okay, they can come and reproduce it in the examination and do the examination, but that is not the case, right? So they have to do all these analysis, and then the last three examinations, there were few questions. It is not some questions of course the last, like 10 case study, we have some questions open-ended questions. Where examiner says, okay, advise to the board, how to deal with it. And then they were open-ended, no specific question to ask. Whereas the last 3 to 4 examinations, the examiner had asked some specific questions. Right? Well, for example, investing in the particular hotel category. Right? Divesting some other entities. Right? So by expanding, so they are the core business. Likewise, the specific question to ask. They have to answer like ultimately carry answers, right, to all specific questions asked. Not anything else. Now you also have, for example, different questions at different, the forums, and might have written some answers and might be having all these documents which you will while you answering for the examination. But again, all these of no use. I think go for the examination with an open mind, all these analysis. Right? All these analysis, and so you have that in your head, right? When you go for the examination, go with an open mind. And then identify the question being asked by the examiner, and then the examiner probably will discuss follow kind of a boom at executive summary, distance, etc. Follow the format and ensure that all these specific questions are answered. Right? But not the reproducing so you all did prior to the examination, what was given to you by somebody else, and we have seen that happened and still some students where we worked as a group, and the 5 people worked as a group and 4 people did a lot of work. Right? But I was a passenger, but I go to the examination, all other people look with their hands on scale. Right? I met some students like that. Okay? So therefore, things are also have. So therefore, you have to become these so all these other 4 fellows, they have go and reproduce what they discuss. What we discuss as a group, but because since I was not part of these bigger analysis, I came and sat in the discussion party and I listened to them. Either I listened to all these discussions, I went to some of the documents, but examination is concerned, I went to the examination with open mind. Whereas other 4 fellows, so they went with the documents and they reproduced the factors, they discussed the examination, like what I earlier said has happened, and they go to publish whole, right? And then they go and 4 other students will, whereas this fellow go to the examination. Therefore, it requires some hands-on experience because this is different to all other people that you all said that over and at academic level is different. right? And even though some, 3-4 questions are there, it's different, some, the critical thinking is required, some practical insight is required, practical approach is required, practical answer will have to be given, as even earlier said, there are no specific answer. There's no kind of the answer for this, right? It depends on how you argue, how you basically, analyze the data, how you interpret your own information, right? How you justify your, the whatever the observations, etc. So therefore, there's no kind of the answer. You have no kind of justify your answer, then you will, basically give you the marks and ensure that you must get to examination. Therefore, it depends on how you analyze, right? How you justify your answer. So therefore, follow that, right? And this, the mock examination story is there only to give your hands-on experience, not to come and reproduce it. Right? I'm repeatedly telling, because of that. Therefore, do your science. Right? As suggested, just go over that. Right? They will be very helpful. Right? As I said, you work as a group, you're going to have the institute, you will have your classes and etc. You'll be meeting up, you can come and study during the weekend, right? You can come and study and have some discussion. They have your information with your own study. Because as far as different examination is concerned, there's no, as you know, if you take 40 marks, everyone will, get to the examination. Right? It's not that the institute has the pass percentage and this and that and etc. So in examination, right? As long as you get the 40 marks, if you want to get to. Right? Now last several examinations, the difference in the paper pass rate was about 80%. Right? I mean, you put some effort, definitely you will get to. So therefore, what you have to do is get your basics right. Right? And do your studies to suggested and go to the examination with an open mind and ensure that all what was requested, all what was required by the examiner, I was your the question. Or sorry, I need to answer. Right? So that will ensure that you get to the examination. Right?
So as he mentioned that, so then what is I want to tell you are, so when you read this thing, there is a phrasing, so you can have a group, right? If you can put it a multiple discipline group, that means some IT expert, maybe who knows IT, so marketing people who know that normally group come with a different the field and 5 people, so you can discuss. So whatever you found in this case, right, and you can share knowledge. As he mentioned that, so that this final exam, institute doesn't want to fail any student. No. Even other exams, basically. If you can score, definitely you will. Even when we were doing our exams, we thought that, okay, only this percentage will be good, right? No, that's not that one. So if you get the correct mark, 50% you have 40 marks, because 20 marks you already get it, right? And now only 80 out of 50% means 40 marks. So even last examination, when I look at it, I don't know if there was certain student fail, right? How much? What is the percentage? Last.
I can't exactly remember, but generally
the report said that the 60 to 80, right? In between 80-60% passed. But can't understand last time exam why people fail. Because 40 marks. Financial management paper was question requirement was 20 because you can't say the question. Because you have to correct it in case there is no question, right? There's a requirement. Because whatever given the requirement, the report writing, when you write a report, no questions, no. It is the requirement to write the strategic report, right? So then you understand this is a requirement. Then this some students think this is a question and answer. It's not question and answer. It's a comprehensive answer. You have to put it in the logically. So no need to write the paragraphs. If you mention properly your knowledge to the examiner will give the marks for your knowledge, right? You can read it and they can read and understand. People should be able to read it, right? Then the handwriting should be not beautiful, but at least read, right?
and then the content should be there. What you are going to say must mention here, right? Properly, examiner should understand what you are going to tell him. So if that two were there, then definitely examiner knows what you are trying to do and you are has the knowledge or not. If you have knowledge, definitely you get marks. Because only here, case study, checking your knowledge. So here what is the goals, concentrate the mentally prepare, that is the revisit key. Then now you have come to the last stage. So now the few days before the exam, now you don't have time to read again case study, right? Now you have read, understood, now you are living in this company, right? Whatever. So group of companies. You are a CEO or a financial analysis or an strategist. Take it as a strategist, right? Now you are living in that company and you are working there as a strategist. So now you don't want to read again pre-scene. Now you have read it and finished it. Now revisit is summarize. Already you summarize, right? You read it, easily. Then anything miss, then you can add it, right? And the sleep get. Now you don't. Now you can sleep because you already prepared and you have to need the rest. Because the examination, if you just before the exam, if you get the pre-scene and the various theories, everything, at the examination, as I mentioned that, you get confused, right? Now you need a good sleep before the exam, right? You can sleep if you have done your homework before the exam. Prepare your exam kit and online setup if applicable. So I don't hear that you can take it as your summaries, any materials, exam, can your summaries, papers, everything you can take it and go. Okay, then take it and go. There's those things. But you know only summarize things, right? Whatever theory, various things, you think that you will get it confused something, then you can put it in the proper place that as I mentioned in the modules. So then you mention it in your paper and take it and go. Don't try to take the PC in there and again, as I mentioned, to try to read it at the examination. No time to read it, right? And you will get confused. So now you have to, what I just mentioned that to what is your tools, right? Week, finalization, reading of pre-scene, then the create case profile document. So company, that basically you can see the company background, all those things. I mentioned that previously, and internal and strategic analysis. So this is industry driver. These are the industry and competitor analysis. You have to do the Porter's 5 forces. So this and other thing the examiner mentioned. One thing, the students are confused of models in the strategic management. They take from SWOT analysis, environment analysis again, and then they go to the what is the Porter 5 forces. They take, it's not relevant, never relevant to this case, but still Porter 5 forces, industry analysis they are doing, and BCG matrix, everything applied in the answer. So waste of time. That's what I told. When you read it, you must take it and put it all these models and okay. But at the exam, you have to read the answer properly. That is a very important. Even 15 minutes to read and understand properly in the answer. That is, otherwise what will happen? Because you have already mentioned in the whatever models in strategic management, say they put it in answer. By maybe 100 pages it is there, right? So many books if they attached to the paper. Answer script. Because you have written of 3 hours or 3.5 hours. Right? So must understand in here this time only ENSOP and BCG metrics. Value chain, those models needed, right? Because those are the strategies in strategic management. So those things you should know how to read it and understand and apply at the exam. When the relevant model only. So when you have the Porter's 5% model, then the industry analysis, then you can apply that. So and some students use this for the SWOT analysis also. Thinking that this is an industry analysis, right? How this industries has the effect to the organization. Right? When you see these are the people, right? Trade from inventors outside, right? And then the bargaining power of suppliers. Then they come to the threat of substitutes, right? Product, industry. It's not internal. So external forces. So that then when you do the environmental analysis, this external forces and the threats and opportunities you can find it, right? From this, then the 5 forces, then the industry. Industry is given pressure to the organization because when you in the here, what is retail industry over there, and the insurance industry over there, then the hospital were there. What other industries in this case are?
Those are the previous one, not this.
Not this case. No, this was. No, that is the pre-scene. Hospital were there. Yeah, last exam, I am telling last exam. I didn't see this time pre-scene. I am telling him that I am referring to the, because I never touched this year, this present one. So in the pre-scene I didn't see, right? I just talking about I studied it one. So there were so many, right? So then then each industry has the pressure, current pressure in Sri Lankan contest, right? So then you should understand that pressure. Then the examiner can test somewhere. Then the 5 forces is needed, right? 5 forces needed you to find out threats and opportunities. Even anything, so there is an opportunity. Threat, there are opportunity there. Any threat, opportunity there. Right? So you have to understand that. Right? Any weaknesses, strength also there. So that is a positive mind, right? So when you even your this thing, any industry, so when you find the threat, you will find the opportunity. When you find weakness, you will find the strength. So that is the basic positive thinking. So then you will find the correct strategy. How you are going to mitigate this threat? How you are going to mitigate your weaknesses and convert it into the strength. Right? The corporate performance, right? So then how you are going to do it? You find the strategy. So then you have to first identify those things. Then you think strategy. So then that is how the pre-scene analysis basically do. When you find the strength, then how you go to use it for generate income. Maybe still not use it. So that is strategy. Then you can, that is how the corporate strategies propose the things to the corporate body in the board of directors. So we have not utilized this strength. Then you find a new opportunity. So then likewise when you read this thing, so that in this case you find it, these companies have the low cost and high quality. That is their competitive advantage. Then they can capitalize it. Then you think how you are going to do it. It was not maybe used fully. Then you can generate and increase your performance. So then that is how you find the strategy, right? The strategy is thinking is that strategy. So that you must come to that level before you sit for the exam. Soft internal analysis coming for the soft, right?
that already I discussed. So I already mentioned that research means to get this industry's information and risk management, everything, corporate governance and specific industries requirement, regulatory, because there will be a regulatory bodies for certain industry, right? So then you must know that. So maybe some means there. Clues are there, right? When you read it, if you properly read it, you find the clues. Examiners test the paper, prepare the unseen with that clue. Right? Then you have to read at least several times to understand the clue. Then those clues have to be summarized. Each and every paragraph you will find it. So then examiner not given clue, but deliberately examiner, when he want to prepare the unseen or anything, so the examiner start with that thinking of, so then he will put it conscious examiner do it, right? Never think, but because otherwise he cannot prepare the precedent, right? So then you can find it. Then it is a link to unseen. So then that to read, that to understand that you should leave yourself with this precedent. No one can see it, right? Only you yourself. If you follow my guidance, you will find those things. But it's 1 month hard work. Yeah, these are, I already mentioned that the breakdown mind map, right? You can see that company profile, history will be given. These are needed for strategic management, right? Vision was given, culture given. When you read it, these things are in the preceding. You have to separate it and understand. Go understand the history, how this company start and the character, the owner, how he start. He also follow another person, has carried the hard work. He earlier worked for some small shop, and then how the business started. You see that. How many times I have read this phrasing? So that level you should come. Only 1 week I had to read it, but I know the story. It's a story. So you must come to that level. Like I can explain to you in the phrasing, these are there. You should be able to, before the exam, you must tell your husband, mother, father, whatever. So it's about this company. Normally, when from O-level, A-level, you are university, we share. Sometimes when I did the chemistry, I come home and explain to my mother the chemistry, these things, the formulas. She can't understand anything, but I explain because I learn it and I explain it. So then how that is put to mind, right? Any calculations like that? Normally we do it. That's how we get it, the knowledge into mind, right? Even whatever I learned 30, 40 years ago, still remember. Mathematics, whatever, anything. So that is how we share it. Even my masters, we share group, we share knowledge, we discuss. Because then those models come to and register permanently. Never forget. You have to seriously think. These three things, whatever you will exam, after you go to the corporate sector, you will use that knowledge. That is the requirement of this institute. Must go that kind of this batch, maybe listen and follow this instruction, have good financial managers or a corporate strategist. Right? So that's what you have to think. Then comes the product and service range. You can see the products, so many products. Then the differentiation. So how we differentiate these things? Strategy. What strategy they have used it? Whether cost leadership or differentiation, whatever. Right? You can understand. This phrasing, any phrasing done on this structure.
You have to read it and understand these topics, life cycle of the product or a company. Already told the material, otherwise you will not find the basic elements. So when you read it, you will definitely find life cycle of these organizations, right? Then we come to the innovation, whether there is an innovation, there is a new product. So they will say it, right? So the technology. So then we come to the industry and market trends. Already it will say what are the trends, right? And the focus, put it in this way. So any case study come on this foundation and barriers, technology, right? What technology they use? Maybe outdated technology. Now you find the industry analysis, do it and find what are the latest technology available. What is, whether this company can adopt this. Then immediately examiner will definitely have the answer to do something for that. Then what you prepare it? Nothing to scratch your head, right? So then you know what to do. Within 3 hours you can then come the strategies and objectives, mission, tactics and CSR. This time CSR over there and waste management, corporate governance and the CSR over there. That is the question based on that 20 marks I think waste management this time. This time the previous exam. I am previous exam, right? So I read on the latest, not the latest one, previous, right? And ethics. Then the financial and KPIs, profitability, liquidity, ROE and cost and financial evaluation will be there, right? This way then you can get it the financial and key performance index. Then you got pestle, you can see this political, legal. Then when you come to that political and the trade and the tax, labor laws, policy, regulation, regulatory body. And then come to economics, inflation, trade, exchange. What is happening? You must have to gather knowledge, right? So then you get, even this time, you have to do the PC in this way, right? Then social, culture, trade, ethics, which comes technologically, artificial intelligence, IT, and systems relevant to the given industry or the maybe several industries given. Then what is this? And the systems already in the prescient and what you think when you gather knowledge, whether you have to change the system to increase the, because finally we want to, if whatever unseen come, those things too. What is the objective? Finally, give the best to the investor, right? Increase your performance and the profitability, right? So all these things are will do for that one goal, right? So then you think your strategies, how you are going to do this, and read the prescient with this mind. Then you will get it one by one strategy and problems in this system because you compare with the existing other knowledge in the industry. So then you gather those things and then you are equipped with the, you are now working as a strategist of this company. Think every time, each time, that is what I am the employee or a strategy of this company, consultation I am going to do. So for this organization. So likewise you think. Then the environment emissions, base, let's you see that this time base over there, and the policies. So how you are going to do these policies, right? So whatever company policies and whether these policies compatible with the current scenarios or you want to change the policy. So internal control policy, various things are right. So you gather those are in the prescient. You have to find it. What are 5 forces you know? This is the new threats, new entrance, threat of new entrance, barriers. That is the problem. When you come, you don't know the concept, right? You just say threat of new entrance. right? So then they what? Then you must need the industry. Industry regulation already block newcomers, right? When you specially, then it's a foreigner to come and not each organization not come and have 100% ownership. At least only 49%. So it's a barrier. Then you are in that industry, you know that. If you don't know that, then you suggest something, I will sell this 100% to the foreigner. So you are wrong technical. Because you are not analyzed what is the regulation of that particular industry. Whether newcomer can come, there is a threat or not. You should have a good understanding before you go to the exam. That is the preceding given for analysis. So you have to analyze each and every point. Scale and the access. Maybe scale, I have mentioned the capacities and various things, right? And the bargaining power, price sensitivity, volumes, bargaining power of supply, this buyer, right? Whether you can increase the price or not. If there the bargaining power is not there, you can't increase your price, then you will lose your customers, right? So then so you have to make sure that before you suggest price increase, then you should have understanding about the industry customers, right? This is the strategic thinking. That's what I am mentioning you, right? Strategic management means that thinking, right? You have to think with a product, sometimes scarcity of product. With the pricing is what will happen. Sometimes demand come down, right? Then no point in suggesting to increase. Then the examiner knows you don't know anything. This is a general suggestion, recommendation. You have to analyze and go. That is how the industry was given. And the product type was given. See, monopolize is different. Then you can increase your price, right? Then the bargaining power, suppliers, that's what, dependency. Whether you are dependent on this buyer. So then how you are going to, then you have to suggest, one or two buyers you are having. Then you have a strategic risk. Then you must find you have to suggest. You have to negotiate with the buyers. Then you have the sustainability. It's very important. Good sustainable strategy can be recommended. Switching. Whether you can switch buyers, right? Now suppliers. Then sometime in the industry there is only one or two people were there, and then you got to switch it, what will happen? Then sometimes companies can bankrupt because no supply, raw material was supplied to you on time. So that you have to be very careful. If you have not properly analyzed the industry and your company status, then you are giving the wrong strategies to the corporate strategy, basically to the examiner. So then he knows that technically you will get 0 marks. You may be brought so many recommendations, but none of these are correct. So then that is what you have to analyze inputs. Then the threat of substitutes, alternatives, value difference. Then you have to get it. What are those things are available, right? So then you can prepare and see. Then when you get the product type or company type, then whether their competitors are there, when they can get it the alternatives, things, right? Then you can understand before you prepare for the exam. Then the industry rivalry, price wars, competitors, innovation, right? So those things were, so basically this is the way you analyze, and once you analyze this type of, then you get put it the pre-seen in this method, then you definitely find examiner what going to do with the unseen. Because everything will come out from the pre-seen as a highlighting everything, soft analysis, brand, IP, and our research and development, loyal base, strength, whatever you have a poor technology, and because it's a branded one, then the strength there. So then you will understand if everything will not put it in the pre-seen, Pre-seen and one or two things put it. Then you analyze in this way, then you read, then you can do, if you have put it at least 5 to 10 times reading the stuff, then you can do this analysis, definitely. Then you will get the finally, what is the examiner going to do with this pre-seen. Then the balance scorecard, financial perspective, revenue, ROC, ROI, customer. This time financial perspectives were there, right? And strategic perspectives were there. So that is 120 marks or 20 marks, right? Or 6 marks, 20 marks, 26 marks. And corporate governance also came. In this strategic analysis in the last, I remember that one. And the internal process, efficiency, quality, turnover. You see, all those put it in pre-seen this time. When you look at it, pre-seen mention everything. Only thing you do, put it in this format. Simple analysis. Then the possible exam scenarios, strategic choice will come. Expansion or mergers and acquisition, outsourcing. Some more working capital, you can put it here. And the financial analysis, ratios, forecast, investment, right? You can come. Risk and governance, controls, fraud tricks, stakeholders, right? And the CSR, dilemmas, sustainability, greenwashing, right? And the operational issues, cost management, HR, people, IT, pay. So when you put it into the possible exam scenario, finally when you analyze everything, you can put it down to this. Then examiner either must test these things. Then you will have today mergers possible. But don't go to the exam only mergers and acquisitions. Though you come to mind, you must go to the open minded. You have covered everything, but possibility there. So then you must at least get a valuation, synergy, various things of mergers and acquisitions. You must refresh your mind. Valuation must come, right? Expansion, then definitely valuation will be there, project evaluation. So then you must, cash flows will come, definitely, right? So then selling something, not mergers acquisition, they will sell the one department to one this thing, like company. So then valuation will be there. Then the risk and governance, you can see everything over there. So I just have the theory. So at the time, some more time, right? 8:30. BCG metrics and case study analysis. BCG metrics, I already discussed with you, but this is just to show that case study analysis. BCG metric concept and application. How to apply the BCG metrics to a case study. Right? So I explained to you sample case study analysis using BCG metrics. This is a basic, you can see this, right? The Boston, we know that BCG metric is the portfolio analysis tool used by companies to analyze their business unit product line. But where you can see the stars, cash cows, questions marks and dogs, right? And it comes to the high description, high growth, high market share. When there is a high growth, high market share, there is the cash stars, right? Stars. High, because you need the high investment needed, right? Because then the investment to maintain growth. When you want to grow this, it should be invest to maintain growth. Then you can use cash cows already in this one. The low growth, high market share. Low growth means industry not growing. Example was early in our young age, sunlight is a declining product, matured. Those days, I remember, they removed the wrapping, just only like a bar shop and like a shop, to milk the entire profit, because it's a cash cow, mature market, right? Then later on, then when you have that kind of product, what is the strategy you have? You have two strategies. When your product you found mature, now decline stage. So many products after that delete that same thing, but I say example for because that time I am in marketing. So then mostly lecturers use that sunlight, right? That time. So that's why I'm speaking about sunlight. Sunlight, those days, they cut advertising because people already in mind sunlight. Then they remove because you reduce it to kill the sunlight. They are not declining because that time Quinzo was introduced to the market. Right? Our young age, Quinzo came. Then no point sunlight, right? Everybody only village level sunlight was there, right? Then washing machine came. Then no need sunlight. Then that time the company thought sunlight finished. Still sunlight there, right? Why? They wanted to kill the sunlight. They never, finally they found another strategy. What they did is, you similar to the advertisement came after that. Sunlight relaunch with smell, that lime smell, right? So relaunch. Then after that, so many relaunch came, even the light boy, various things came. So then that is the only when you have the mature product, strategy is either kill it. Before kill, you milk it until die. That's why they have reduced the cost too, because no advertisement, people, because mature, people buy it. Market was mature, right? So no need to spend money, right? When you come to the market, I think that practically the market was matured in the product, no one analyzed it, spent every 5 minutes advertisement cost. No point. If you properly analyze, you can cut the advertisement cost. Right? Then otherwise you have to relaunch it. Find the strategy and good strategies, market strategies, how to relaunch this product. So you did either two. You have then your strategies, then come to that, then you think that way. In the maybe you will get it next exam, that kind of strategy you have to apply. Then you must know this which stage, whether it's cash cow or a question marks or door. Then you can see the invest. These are the strategy available, right? Maximum profit, invest elsewhere. So you milk this cash cow and invest in the stock because stock is growing. But need investment, then you can use this money. Then the question marks, invest or divest, depending on potential. Then the dogs, divest or reposition. You have to reposition that. Then you have to spend money, right? So that also cash cow money there, then you can use it. So this is this is the way you have to interpret it and apply DCT matrix, not to write what is DCT matrix. Because wherever even that people write theory, but the examiner wants these strategies. At least you write to invest somewhere, then you get at least 1 mark. Because your application must start. Not write question marks. This product is high growth, low market share. Examiner knows that. Examiner look at what you are to do with this product. How you are going to then this strategy, how you are going to turn into the star, at least star. You have to finally go to the star, right? How you are going to do it? Because low market share, you have to increase the market share. You invest, advertise, do campaign, whatever method, how you are going to do with this product to capture the market. That's the strategy you have to find. Before you do that, you have to place it to analyze and see what is this position. Whether it's cash cow or a star or That is the basic there. You are unseen, you have to give this some small paragraph, then you must immediately get that part. Then you give the strategy. So you can read it that one. Case study example. So this is example I given. The example starts continuing investing in the marketing. You can see this Nescafe cash cow. Because everybody drink cash cow. No any advertisement going on. Everybody got another Nescafe, right? Now, earlier you have to introduce it. The growth, introduction. Sometimes can vary because if you are not properly capturing the market initial stage. But now it's a match. Then the high market share. Market growth is Nescafe, then the cash cow. Because no more industry growth, right? Market growth, this is a mature now. Nestle water is coming to question mark. Kit Kat is high stuff. Now young people, everybody Kit Kat, right? So there is a high demand and high market share. So then you can have to invest in advertising because the competitors are there. Different varieties are there. Then you have to advertise and keep the mindset. If you don't advertise it, it will get it out from the consumer. So then the magic soup, not your dope, right? So then how you are going to, whether you are going to work with this magic soup or you will discontinue. That is the exam unseen will come. Then you must find out what you have to correctly identify this position. Then you can give the correct strategy. What you are going to do. Then the examiner sometimes will be right. There is this company, then it's going to kill it. Then the value, financially linked. Then give the valuation. Then you have to find which valuation. Because this is going to die now, right? What is the value? Because declining and other things the mistake. When this comes to my mind, I can another mistake, right? So when you come to the value of this thing, then the students, right? Give the cash flow, right? Then the declining stage cash flow coming, declining your growth. Then what is you are going to do? Free cash flow. Growth is declining. 5%, 2%, likewise growth is declining. One day it will be 0. Can you apply the terminal value? Find the terminal value of this in the 1 plus G, right? In the whatever profit, KC minus G. Can we use this? Why? What is the correct? What is the cash flow we have to do? There are two ways. One is we can argue on that this company not survive long time, right? Then we can go to next assessment on that logic. Otherwise, we have to use the discounted cash flow for until last year. That is come to 0 or 1. Cannot use the free cash flow and terminal value. Because when you put a terminal value, this is coming down, right? Growth is minus 2%. Decline is not plus, right? Growth models can be applied when only growth. It's a concept, right? Growth model cannot be applied to anything else. There should be a cash flow, dividend, growth. Otherwise, no. Those are the mistakes you are doing, right? So maybe expansion on the 4 strategies, market penetration. So that is the ENSOP model. You can understand. I given this. That also I given the strategies and application. Market penetration, what the example is given.
Maybe this is circular, ne? Then you can read it and understand. Already I explained most of the value chain analysis. That also I given all the information, right? How you are going to apply it. So, unfortunately no time to, then otherwise you can read it, because now I explained that one. Then the value chain, and how to use value chain analysis in your case study given, right? So what are the value creation, how you can create value, right? Inbound logistics, operation, outbound logistics, strategies, already you can get it. These are the value chain, value creation, differentiation, customer loyalty. So those are the strategy available, right? So then apply it in correct place. Just because of you take it this and go and put it in the exam will never help. You have to read, because I have not gone through the reason, or I have never analyzed anything. This is given for any case. So for to refresh your theoretical, and what I have found from the previous exams, these was checked and wrongly applied. My main task to clear your mind and how to prepare and how you are going to sit for the exam and select correct model. This is what I did it today. Governors and already given, right, clues. When you read the pre-scene, you can find the clue, right, hint somewhere. Then governance problem will be there, right? Your finance strategies already I explained, right? Yeah. Okay. So this will, and then you can read it.
Yeah, actually, what we are trying to explain on is the approach to once again summarizing these different data compared to what you already before, right? Real application of what you have learned is really required in this particular case. That is why we want to highlighting, some of the basics, right? Whether it be financial management or corporate finance, the corporate finance, etc. So that will be once again, revisited by you, right? But it is more importantly, is not to reproduce what you will learn. For example, mostly at the corporate and strategic level, especially when it comes to strategy management, what most of you are doing is reproducing other questions also, lying in that particular way, right? Reproduce to some extent the content, some things will be applied and give some kind of solution. But again, in this particular case, what is really required, we basically actually share some of the good examples, right? In, especially corporate finance, example, based on the analysis of the information given, what strategy they should pursue, kind of a thing, right? So they are good. So that is the kind of analysis that you all should be doing, and ultimately consider in answering the questions asked. So therefore, right, so do your analysis of the corporate finance, right, and the corporate strategy, based on strategy, right, because both are required, everybody, we explain you some examples, and we'll share this document, any permit, for you all to get a better understanding. We actually this particular document contains a lot of examples, right, so especially when you corporate and corporate finance, more than corporate finance, the corporate strategy is based on strategy side of it, right? How to analyze circumstances, referring to some of the practical examples, whether it's Nestle or the Unilever, etc. These further situations prevail, and how to analyze, and based on the analysis, what is the strategy proposed for the particular organization to take, right? So that is the kind of analysis that you will work to do based on this. And next time, it's a freight forwarding, shipping, connected industry, and you can even go through some annual reports. Now, of course, this particular case study and some of the research companies are there in this domain. They come to annual reports and do study, right? And when you go out, some entities in a particular industry, and they can, do your study. That will be helpful for you to understand some of these things, right? You think for you to first, do the corporate strategy and the business strategy side of it, so whether it is not for professional or the BCP, so annual report will give you some insight, right? The second one, for example, especially now emerging areas in this industry, right? Because this briefly talks about, for example, e-commerce in the industry, right? Sustainability, fund development in this particular industry. When we think of the examiner having those in the briefly meaning, the possibility of testing them is very high. Because those are part of the syllabus and the emerging area. Because you also get ready to take up the position in an environment where all these the emerging areas will play a bigger role. Whether it be, for example, AI or the data, right, or the cybersecurity, blockchain, and then sustainability, they all will play a significant role in corporates in time to come. You are going to take up the positions of those organizations in that environment, right? To give this conclusion, thinking, figure out, so therefore, you are going to take up those positions, right? So therefore, those the areas will be significant. You need to have a very good understanding on the area, those applications of those areas in this particular industry. So the industry is given in a basic. Because examiners, they will definitely consider, those especially consider the fact that, you are going to get into that particular. That is why, so there is basic, so e-commerce and, those sustainability, they are covered, they are to a very high level. And corporate finance because, that is 25% of your syllabus, anyway will be tested, that are always being tested if you go to the last 5 days. So, the free cash flow evaluation, weighted average cost of capital, things like more. So therefore, to do your basically homework on the corporate strategy, right? Business strategy and the corporate strategy, especially the strategies are concerned application part. Not reiterating, not to produce theory, not to produce the knowledge to maybe paper. So that one, but even this particular document carry a lot of information. So therefore, reading that particular context and do analysis in that. I'm also suggesting you to take an annual report of maybe one or two industry, one or two entities in this particular industry and do analysis and identify emerging areas locally and globally. Locally and globally, remember, for example, from the industry you will be able to identify some of the developments globally in this particular business. Freight forwarding, shipping, business, especially how technology is used to do better, use to become a better freight forwarder or a shipping society or in that particular domain, right? So they are going to gather all that information, get all the information, so you in the next 3 weeks, they are asking about it, and ensure that you have to live with it. You have to live with it, and then when an examination, he did not have sufficient time, to take you through that. The examination also, when you get into the examination, you have to plan your time. For example, if 3.5 hours is given, you have to basically plan your time. You have to whatever you do within that 3.5 hours. For example, maybe you're reading, the question, so you might require half an hour or 15 minutes. And thereafter, for example, if the question carries, if the paper carries 5 requirements, right? So if the different mark allocation is given for those 5 areas, remember, so ensure that you basically identify, right? You basically allocate the marks into those different requirements, and then within that requirement, for example, in a case evaluation or whatever is being given, so you have to understand that so the total marks allocated, for this particular one is this. So therefore, within this time frame, so these will have to be covered in my now. Within that, if 30 marks are allocated, out of 80 for a particular section, you know that okay, you can spend 1 hour. Within that 1 hour, you have to identify these requirements you have created based on your previous knowledge on the financial management and your pre-seen, unseen, etc. Identify these are the requirements that will have to be fulfilled in answering this particular question, right? So within this 1 hour time, so therefore make a point note of it, right? In very summarized form, and then answer, so within that 1 hour, covering those 4 areas identified. You have seen that, the examiners coming to say that some of the students have written a lot of things, under the particular, right, the answer to the particular question, but without covering the key requirements, expected by the examiner. A lot of things, right? But the key requirement expected by the examiner is not being, properly calculated. So therefore, it is very critical for you to understand how you are going to manage your time, right, in the examination, right? 3.5 hours, half an hour reading, and then 3 hours, allocated for the requirements specified by the examiner, and then, right, so then within that, so take maybe 5 minutes worthwhile, right? Within that, for example, the requirement, requirements and identify what in minimum what you have to basically address. In minimum, for example, the immediate valuation, free cash flow will have to be estimated, terminal will have to be taken, right? Cost of capital will have to be computed, and etc. So that will be basically identified, in a very summarized form, and then included to some done. And by the time the 3.5 hour is over, so you have quickly covered, all the requirements expected by the examiner. Because one other comment I saw, in going through this, the examiner's comment, I said, okay, now the total 80 marks, some people have answered only to the extent of 60% of the marks. Out of the 80, they have answered 60. Therefore, taking 40 out of 60 is pretty difficult. Generally difficult. For example, taking 40 out of 80 is easy. But taking 40 out of 60 might be difficult. So they have to ensure that within the 3 hours or 3.5 hours, you answer all the sections. For example, if the executive grammar is required and 10 marks are allocated to that executive grammar, ensure that you write executive grammar, because otherwise you lose 10 marks. So they have to ensure that, for example, for that 10 marks, you set aside, 20 marks. So 20 minutes. Right, for example, to address the requirement 1, for example, 1 hour, requirement 2, half an hour, requirement 3, 20 minutes. So likewise, ensure that, the time is allocated for all the requirements and all the requirements are met. For example, that is why I said, so when the requirement 1 is present, identify within the requirement 1, identify sub-requirement. When you identify sub-requirement, prioritize. So what is the most critical one, second most critical, third most critical, fourth most critical, and then we use that much lower. Right? For example, there can be 10 sub-requirements, within 1 hour you can do, for example, all 10 sub-requirements, do only 5, do only 7. Because by the time you do 7, all key requirements are being met. Then if balance cannot be met, you forget about it. Then you move to the other one. So then you are addressing the second requirement. By the time you complete in that particular form, the 3.5 hours, basically fulfill and then complete the requirement of all requirements expected by the exam. So therefore, the examination is very important, very critical for you to manage your time. Ensure that all sections are answered, all requirements are answered. Right? And then when all requirements are answered, very critical one and a particular requirement, most important requirements are being met. So they have to keep that also in mind right from the beginning. Right, so with that then we'll just talk about today, and as Himanta suggested, we have also been suggesting for you all to read these maybe once at least maybe pass it every 2 days and then identify the areas, key requirements and etc. Because every time when you read, you might identify something new might come in your mind, right? And discuss it more with the leagues and etc. Nowadays you can use the AI, like the TP, whatever the AI goes with some input, but again don't be driven by it, right? Because there was a new value from that, so that might not necessarily be all the time the correct, the input, but you might get some input, but whatever the source is available, you basically use and get, whatever input that is required, and then ensure that you is well prepared for the examination, and for the examination properly, as I said, again, usually there's no, if all of you get 40 marks, if you will pass all of you, right? I mean, there's no, the pass percentages, etc., but I can tell you all that, very confidently, and then, so all of you can get to the examination. Therefore, now, there will be 3-4 more sessions, so one on the business strategy, one on the corporate strategy, and one on the corporate finance evaluation side, right? And then final sessions will be on basically the case kind of analysis we do it, right? So anyway, so we'll see how best we from the institute can support your study and suggest that for you all to basically live in this week for another 3 weeks and do it. Right? Thank you very much.
Another thing, so I guess this is a shipping and freight forwarding, right? So you have to deal with the industry, investment like common, right? Terminology and regulations, especially different, right? And you to understand whatever, you have to read the industry well, right? And understand everything. That is the shipping and forwarding. Just now I said that. To read it, right? The regulations and the